here's a tip. If it's in winter time and you get your coffee cup right out of the cabinet, it's usually really cold. Pour the coffee cup right into it, what's going to happen? It's going to kind of cool the coffee out. But if you fill your coffee cup up with warm water, put your hands around it like this, and wait for that heat to seep through, dump out that hot water out, your cup will be nice and hot. So when you pour the coffee in it, boom, nice hot drink. Got the hot water in there, it's getting ready. Oh, see, the heat's coming through. Now, this could be an allusion to, life in the spirit, preparing the way. I don't know. You have fun with it. Isn't that what Bob Ross says? I'm gonna put a little happy little treat here. You can put yours wherever. Just have fun with it. Feature coffee cup of the day. My friends at Impact Life Church in Destin. Check it out. Now this is a big one. Boom. So obviously didn't fill it all the way up, but it's gonna work for the video. Prefer almond creamer, but out of it. So keeps it a little bit more alkaline. The coffee's not as acidic, but today going old school, half and half. I know you clicked on this thinking it's gonna be all about the prophetic realm, which it is. And yes, if you watch my other videos, I have 3 shirts just like this. One's black, one's blue, one's white. So if you're attentive, you've seen that. If not, who cares? Nice. Maybe a little bit too much cream. I do like it creamy. I'm in my house. So here we are. There's Riley. Riley, say hi. I'm inside. You can kind of look at the inside of this house as the world in which I live. I'm in the kitchen. I'm walking towards the living room, so I'm going to pan around. Our living room's down there. Alright. Now I'm walking towards the front door. There's the back of the house is behind me. Hopefully you're not getting dizzy. Front door. And then I'm walking into the office, which is where you usually see me hanging out. There's the blackboard. And there is the desk. Boom. So behind me, what's making me be all nice and lit up is the window. So you could say outside the window is a different world. Now, I know that world exists because I can see the light coming in the window. Alright? You have blinds, that light's coming through the blinds, or if the window's open, you have a bigger view of that world. And so everything we've talked about so far in the prophetic series is an introduction to this world. What is prophecy? Prophecy is learning to receive any data from heaven and make it known to the earth, just kind of like the light is shining in the window right here. So if I'm able to look out into the world of the outside, I can see what's happening out there and say, oh, hey, check it out. There's trees, there's leaves, there's another house across the street. A few minutes ago, there was a young buck running down the street. And so I can tell the person in here what it's like outside. Does that make sense? And so if I have an identity inside, I also have an identity in heavenly places. So if I can see myself in heavenly places, it can impact my identity here. If I can see someone else's identity in heavenly places, which is what the outside is representing, then I can see that and prophesy to them what it's actually like. Now, everything we've talked about so far is to make you aware that there is an outside. Focus, focus, focus. Is to make you aware that the heavenly realm, that God himself is speaking to us, and that through visions, gazes, dreams, thoughts, imaginations, all the things that I mentioned, plus a whole slew of other things, the senses, feeling, there's all types of ways that God speaks and communicates more than we've gone over. So if I'm standing, for example, if I'm standing in front of the window and it's hot outside, I might feel the heat of the sun. If it's cold outside, I might feel a draft. And so this is the same thing with heavenly places. When you draw near to heavenly places, you can feel the effects both spiritually and physically. Now, if the house represents the vehicle in which I live my life, I could go get in my garage, get in the car, and then I can drive down the street. I'm outside, but I'm still in a container that prevents me from experiencing the fullness. I'm in a vehicle from which I can witness what happens outside, but it's not like I got out of the car and I jumped and I knew what it was like to roll around in the leaves. So when we activate our prophetic gifting, it makes us aware of the heavenly realm. When we're aware of the heavenly realm, we realize that it's a much bigger, all-encompassing realm. So if my house represents the earth and the outside represents heaven, that shows you that my house is actually sitting in heaven already. It says in Ephesians 2:6, we're seated at the right hand of Jesus in heavenly places. Now, a lot of people might go up to the door and look outside. They're growing in the prophetic. They might even open the door to where now they can feel what it's like. They can smell the breeze. They can feel the wind. They can feel different things begin to happen because the door has been opened. But just like Riley, you also have the opportunity to walk out. I lost my flip-flop. To walk out into this whole new reality of what it's like to be limitless with the confines of physical space, and the expanse of this world just goes on forever. It goes all the way around the back of my house. Now I'm in a bigger realm. My house is probably around 1,900, maybe 2,300 square feet if you count the garage. But it's a limited space. And now for illustration's purposes, I am now in an unlimited space. I am outside. Here's the leaves. Here's the ground. Here's everything I was seeing just a moment ago when I was inside my window looking out. But now I'm actually out here experiencing it. And that is the illustration of what it's like to be and live in the prophetic realm, to be aware of the prophetic realm, to live there. So when we have experience here, if I go back inside the house, now I have the testimony of what it's like here that I can present in there. And that testimony can be an invitation for those who are still inside to come outside and experience the bigger, all-encompassing reality. Right? It's just like on the Matrix. Which pill are you going to take? Are you going to choose to remain inside of a program, or are you going to come out to the more expansive world? The difference between the Matrix and reality is the fact that instead of being this dark, dystopian future that was destroyed, you actually, when you step outside and you leave the programming of the Matrix, you see this paradise, you see heaven on earth, you see just the amazing realm that God lives in. And even beyond heaven, there's the realm of God himself. And so that is the prophetic realm. All of that to be a really good description for you. So when we're prophesying, what we're doing is we're taking the reality of heaven and building it in earth. So that earth itself begins to look like heaven. There's a transformation, there's a terraforming, there's a recreation, there's a restoration of the heavenly family that begins to happen when heaven lives inside of us. So our lives, our vocations, our actions, our thoughts, and everything like that can bring the experience of who Jesus really is, where he is, what he's like, and in the realm that surrounds his being. And we prophesy, we bring that into the earth. We see people as they really are because we see how they are here. And when we go back to where they are presently, whether physically or mentally, then when we speak the prophetic voice to them and we encourage them, it ignites them. It creates that invitation to step outside. It can be instantaneous. It's like it's the thing that happens from the inside out. The metaphors of the house and outside are all representation of this internal reality being born and being birthed. It's the difference between saying I must be born again. Being born again is kind of like saying I'm going to stay in the house but only look outside the window. Being born from heavenly places is like saying, okay, I see what's out there. I'm going to go outside and experience and actually animate. I'm going to animate myself in heavenly places. I'm going to live life in heavenly places. And that's the reality of heaven on earth. Come on. We're going to check it out, Activating a Prophetic Lifestyle. We go more in depth and really dive into this, what the prophetic realm is like and the lifestyle lived from those places. Like, subscribe, and share, and I'll see you guys next time.